Can you see me? Focusing. So sometimes when I'm translating what they're saying to me in Spanish into English, I'm like, that was rude. Why would you go to a new country and speak the language of your home country? Like, you could have just stayed at home. I just want like some pancakes with eggs and bacon and hash browns. That's it. We live here now. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel as told by Gabby. I'm Gabby. Thanks for watching. So today I decided I wanted to do the expat tag. So I have some questions here I'm going to be answering that I found under previous tags. But if you have any more questions for me, like about my experience living abroad, moving abroad versus Spain versus living in the US, let me know in the comments and I'll either answer them in the comments, or if I get enough, I'll make another video. But let's get started. Okay, so the first question is, where were you born / where did you grow up, and where do you currently live? So I grew up in Northern Virginia in the United States of America, and I'm currently living in Alicante, Spain. I've been in Spain for the last 2 years. This is my 3rd year and I love it here. The next question is, what made you leave your home country? So for me, it was just a job opportunity. Well, I won't even say job opportunity because I had job opportunities at home, but it was like the need to explore. Prior to studying abroad in college, I'd only been outside of the US once on a cruise to the Bahamas, but like we were with tourists and doing touristy things the entire time, so like it wasn't really a cultural experience. So when I made the decision to study abroad in Madrid the summer before my junior year of college, it literally like changed everything. Like, it changed my life, it changed my view of the world. I was like, I need to see more and I need to see it now. And while I was studying abroad, I met people that were in the program that I'm in now. They were just a bunch of Americans. I was like, how are y'all living here? Like, how are y'all living and teaching here? Like, what's the secret? And they were just like, oh, Google this program when you're about to graduate and apply. Like, this is what we're doing. And that's exactly what I did. So how do people react when you tell them where you are from? Usually excited. People in Europe in general, I would say, are very curious about the United States, and they're very curious about hearing about it firsthand. I would say Europe and the rest of the world in general is very influenced by American culture, whether it be movies and TV, politics, food. Like, they're just very curious, and they ask lots and lots of questions. Depending on what's going on in the US, the questions are a little bit different. Like during the election, there were a lot of questions about Trump and Biden. If a new movie is currently out, they might ask you about the movie. A question I get from my students a lot is, have you seen any celebrities? Do you just like see them all the time? And I'm like, no. So the next question is, what was the easiest / hardest part in adjusting to your new country? I don't think that anything about moving here was very easy, especially the way that we moved here as far as getting visas, and like our program didn't really help us like figure all of these things out. Like, we had to open our bank account on our own, we had to find housing on our own, we had to get our visa on our own. So easy, nothing. But hardest, everything I named, like just the visa process, navigating that, finding housing, opening your bank account, and navigating all of these things in a different language was pretty difficult. Even with me, like, I had a base of Spanish, but by the time I had moved here, I hadn't really been speaking Spanish regularly or really at all for 2 years. I finished my minor after I studied abroad going into my junior year of school. So my junior and senior year, I didn't have any Spanish classes. So I just wasn't familiar with speaking it, and I wasn't familiar with speaking it in like administrative terms, like with like having to navigate the police stations with the visas and the foreigners offices and the banks, and also just like culturally things are different here with like opening and closing times. What else? I feel like interacting with people, I would say the Spanish language is a lot more direct than the English language is. So sometimes when I'm translating what they're saying to me in Spanish into English, I'm like, that was rude. But it's not. Like, it's something you have to adjust to. Oh, also, when I was studying Spanish in the US, most of my teachers were from Latin America. They were from the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Argentina, Mexico. And here in España, the accent is very different. It took a while for me to even understand the words that I knew in Spanish. Honestly, could write a book, but lots of things were difficult about moving here, but not impossible. What's one thing you'd say yes to in your new city that you wouldn't say yes to back home? I am more likely to talk to strangers here than I am in the US. Just like randomly talking to someone on the street or talking to someone in the grocery store, getting like a random cup of coffee with someone I met. I'm already pretty outgoing and open to meeting new people, but I feel like living abroad, in Spain especially, has made me even more so. And especially the more comfortable I get speaking Spanish, the more comfortable I am talking to complete strangers in Spanish, which is really good practice for me as well. So I think, yeah, just like talking to strangers and putting myself outside my comfort zone. Listen, I was not a strong swimmer before I moved to Spain. Like, I knew how to not drown, but like I can't save anyone else, and I'm definitely not just gonna be floating out here for forever. But I think moving here, like being by the coast where there's so much water, there are cliffs, there are coves, like it's pushing me out of my comfort zone. I'm like, okay, like I need to build up my swimming skills because I want to be out here jumping off cliffs. I want to be out here on these boats. And last summer I did just that. I was jumping off cliffs in Croatia. I was riding on boats in Croatia and in Spain, and just like hiking places and just doing lots of outdoorsy things that I wouldn't do at home, because I'm not typically an outdoorsy person. Or like I'm an adventurous person, but not when it comes to like hiking and doing like physical things outside. It's just not my brand. But if a friend suggesting like, hey, do you want to do this, like I'll go, but it's not something I would initiate myself, you know what I mean? So I think like things like that have really pushed me outside of my comfort zone and like opened me up to like really new experiences that have been amazing. So the next question is, what do you enjoy most doing in your new country? I really enjoy the social life here, and by the social life I mean like going for coffee, going for lunch or dinner with friends, and eating paella. I like dancing so much. I go to salsa and bachata classes all the time here. There's a lot going on here all the time, like randomly stumbling upon things. Me and my roommate were at the beach yesterday, and we were walking home and we ran into a movie set. They're like literally filming a movie on one of the main roads here in Alicante, Rambla. I like spontaneous adventures. I like going to the beach. A much more relaxed way of life, I would say, here compared to living in the US, for me personally. So, do you speak the local language, and how important is it to learn it, or is it important to learn it? Yes, I do speak Spanish, and I do feel more comfortable confidently saying that now. Before, people used to ask me and I'd be like, no. And then I'd have a conversation with them for 15 minutes and they'd be like, but you said you didn't speak Spanish. And I'm like if I know I'm around like native speakers, I'm hesitant to say that I speak Spanish, because then inevitably they're gonna say something I don't understand. And I'm like, oh, she lying. But yes, I do speak Spanish. It's definitely gotten a lot stronger since I've lived here. Is it important to learn it? I think out of respect, whenever you move to a new place, Spain, Italy, France, India, China, wherever you are, I think it's very respectful to at least attempt to learn the language. The locals appreciate it. It will make your life a lot easier. And like, why would you go to a new country and speak the language of your home country? Like, you could have just stayed at home. That was my problem my first year. Is like, I wanted to learn Spanish, but all of my friends were American from the UK or Australia. Like, I was speaking English all the time. I had one roommate who spoke Spanish fluently, and she only spoke Spanish. She didn't speak English. And like, I noticed that sometimes I would avoid her because like I was just scared of saying something wrong. Once I like got past that and broke free, like we would have conversations together. We would do intercambios where I would speak to her in English, she would speak to me in Spanish, and we would learn together, because she was also in English classes at her university. She was a student. And once that happened, we started going out together. We hanging out at home together. So yes, I personally would say it is important to learn the language. You can live and survive without it if you're in like a larger city or a touristy city, but I would definitely recommend it because people definitely appreciate when you at least attempt to speak the language. Do I miss my friends and family at home? Of course. Every day I think about them and I miss them. That doesn't really go away. And I will say for me personally, it has gotten harder the longer I've been away and the older I get. The more I miss my friends and my family, and I'm missing out on baby showers, on Thanksgiving, on birthdays and things like that. But I've just learned to maximize my time when I am home. So I make sure to go home for Christmas break. We have a stretch of like a month where we are off school. So I usually go home for like 2 to 3 weeks. I go home for at least a month in the summer. That way I can still feel a part of my family's lives and like I have my own life here. What products from your home country do you miss the most? I miss like breakfast foods. Like I miss like waffles and pancakes, and they have them here, but usually it's like a dessert with like chocolate and other things, and I'm just like, I just want like some pancakes with eggs and bacon and hash browns. That's it. That's it. And the McDonald's here, like one of my favorite things in this world is a McDonald's hash brown. And the McDonald's here does not have hash browns. They don't even really have breakfast at all. They have like pastries. A lot of American products you can actually find here if you search hard enough. Like for a long time I thought there was no hot sauce here. Like there was no buffalo sauce here. There was no ranch. There was no honey mustard. There is. It's more expensive and you have to look a little bit harder to find it, but it is here. Whenever I go home, I bring back everything bagel seasoning with me. I'm sure there's something else that I'm missing that I'm not thinking of. Oh, Honey Nut Cheerios. They don't have Honey Nut Cheerios here. I think they have them maybe in Madrid. They have this store called, is it called Plaza America? In the America? Something America. I'm gonna find the name and I'm gonna put it right here. And they sell all American products, but a box of cereal is like 10 euros. No, like no. So I have been missing that, and I do binge slightly when I'm home. So this question is, what suggestions or tips would you give to someone who wants to live there? In Spain specifically, I would say bring your patience. They live a very no pasa nada lifestyle, which is really cool until you're trying to get something done, like administratively. Definitely bring lots of patience because they do definitely work on their own time. It gets done when it gets done is basically how they live. I would say learn some Spanish. It'll do wonders for you. It'll go a long way. And it's just good to know another language because I'm telling y'all, when you get over here, you're gonna meet people that speak 3 or 4 languages casually and are still learning more. Like some of my students already speak 5 languages and they're like 10 fluently. So I mean, you're really only hurting yourself by not learning. Also, what else? Do your research about your city, about your area, about your visa requirements, about everything. I won't say I was unprepared when I got here, but I was I could have prepared more. Like I didn't do as much research as I probably should have, and that's honestly on me. That's just my personality type. Like I'm not type A at all. Like I'm very much so go with the flow, see what happens, and like it ended up being okay for me at the time, but it's just like if you can prepare, you should. So what was the first week like in your new country? For me, it was just like kind of surreal. Like I think that because I had studied abroad before, it took me a while to process that I had just moved to a new country. Like I feel like it wasn't until a month or 2 in where I was like, we live here now, you know? Like really like, bitch, you just packed up into 2 bags and moved across and now we're just here vibing. Yeah, I think it took about 2 months for me. The first week was just really busy. I was living in an Airbnb, trying to find housing, trying to get paperwork together, and just trying to adjust to a new city, trying to make friends, because when I moved here, I knew absolutely no one. Even the girl who I had agreed to live with, that I met in the Facebook group, we had never met in person. I didn't meet her till my first week here. So it was just like a lot of new experiences. So what surprised you the most about your new country? I think how in tune they are with American culture surprised me. Like how much, especially people in my generation and below, know about the US. I really can't name a Spanish celebrity off the top of my head. Rosalia? She's Spanish, right? Yeah. I really can't. And these kids be knowing a lot, and so that was surprising to me. It was surprising to me like how many breaks they have. Oh my goodness gracious, there are so many holidays here, and like puentes, and in August, like everyone's off work for like an entire month. Like that's amazing. What is something that annoys you or you struggle with your new country? We've already been over this. Like, I love the no pasa nada lifestyle, but I also hate it at the same time because like anytime I'm trying to get things done, it's really annoying. What else annoys me? They stand really close. It's gotten better because of COVID, but like I am very much still a personal space person. Like I like my personal space. So yeah, people push past you, but people do that in the US too, to be honest. That's just a home training thing. People don't really follow lines here, or like courteous lines. Like if people see a line, they'll like walk to the front. I was at the market the other day and I was standing calmly waiting for the guy's attention. Like I wasn't really in a rush, so like I didn't really care that much, but this guy just walks right up and starts yelling the guy's name and asking for help. And then the guy at the stall comes over to me. He's like, well, you were waiting before him, right? I was like, yeah, but like it doesn't matter. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, like he just walked up, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's okay. Like, but little things like that happen all the time here, and I like, it's so annoying to me. I'm like, someone was waiting before you. But I guess maybe I need to be more assertive. But clearly, he was clearly busy when I walked up. So I'm not about to be like, hey, me over here. Like, I can calmly wait my turn until he's finished. What do you do to stay in touch with people from your home countries? So with my friends, I'm always like chatting with them on Snapchat or sending them pictures or commenting with them on Instagram or FaceTiming with them. Mostly I use WhatsApp and to contact people, to call, to text, to FaceTime. I try to like establish call times because I'm 6 hours ahead from the East Coast time. I usually talk to my family like very late at night, or the COVID pandemic has been, a benefit has been that most of my family is working from home, so then I can call them during the day, which is better for me because if it's 6 o'clock for them around the time they finish working, it's midnight for me and I'm like literally falling asleep on the phone. It's hard, but it's doable. And I feel like I did have a lot of points. I do have points where I do go for a long time without talking to my friends, like physically, like on the phone, but we do message each other all the time, talk to each other, and when I come home it's like I never left. So I don't think it's negatively affected any of my relationships as far as friends and family. What new foods have you tried? Number one, Spanish food is good. So I've had croquetas, which is like fried, I'm not really sure what's on the inside. I think it's like a mix of like potatoes and jamon and cheese, and it's like fried into like a ball. Super good. Paella, chef's kiss. Like if you come to Spain, or if you come to the Valencia region, because paella is native to the Valencia region, you have to have it. I've tried different types of fish now. I eat lots and lots of vegetables now. I ate vegetables before, but mostly just like broccoli and like green beans and things like that. But now that I go to the market, if you haven't watched my day at the market video, I buy lots of fruits and vegetables there, so I've gotten really creative with how I cook them. I try like new fruits and vegetables at the market. Don't really know the names, I apologize. And so far everything's been really, really good, so I would recommend. But yeah, that's all I have for you now. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comment box below, and I'll answer them. Maybe in a video, or maybe I'll just answer them in the comments. Let me know. I hope you can see me. I'm in my living room today just because I felt like the lighting was better. Just to emphasize, these are all my answers from my experiences and my opinions. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. I hope that I provided some insight into my life here. And until next time, please like and subscribe, and see you later.